And there we have it, a very chunky mid-20 from Skylake, one of 3 fish in a night, all taken on that IQD rig that was so successful at Gigantica. Absolutely nailed on that they were, and all fished over a big spread of boilies, baited up with a throwing stick. So we're going to get this fella back and look at how to use the throwing stick. The weather is absolutely biblical now. I've got a lovely northwesterly blowing into me. I've not had a bite for quite a few hours, so rather than sitting here all day and waiting for the action to start again in the evening, which it seems to be doing, I'm going to try and force a bit of action by putting some more bait in. And baiting with the right quantity and at the right time is absolutely key on these venues. What a lot of people do wrong, they go out for dinner, 6 o'clock, come back to their swim, start baiting up about 7 o'clock just as the fish are starting to show, and then ruin their chances. And the other big mistake is get up first thing in the morning, see a fish jump out, start baiting up over the top of them, scare them all away, and you've ruined 2 feeding spells. So it's now the middle of the day. Like I say, there's been no action for a little while, so I'm going to put some bait in, only about 1 kilo over each set of rods. I'm fishing 2 and 2, just about 1 kilo, just enough to bring the fish back in to get a bite. If I put 3 or 4 kilos out, then I'm probably not going to get a bite until the night time. So you need to think about putting just enough in to get another bite, and then do your big baiting before dinner rather than after dinner. Go up and rest your swim for an hour, have dinner, come back, cast the rods back out, the fish might already be there. So the throwing stick, first of all, the easy stick as it's called, because it is so easy to use. Long slim shaft on it, very, very lightweight, and that unique J shape at the top. That creates backspin, makes the baits go further. A long slim handle, so you can use it one-handed or two-handed. And in the end there, we've got a hole just to stop the vacuum being created, which sucks the baits back in the stick and means they don't go as far. This now comes in 3 sizes. This is the 20mm, there's a 24mm and a 30mm now. So for you European anglers that are using big boilies, we've listened to you and there is a stick to suit you. To go with it, I've got my Aqua Boilie Caddy. I've got about 1 kilo of 20mm cell in there. And what I've done with the cell and the new grains is I've soaked them in a little bit of vegetable oil. The oil soaks into the baits, and that has several advantages. One, it stops the baits splitting as they come out of the stick. The other major advantage is when the fish start eating it, you start getting a slick of oil on the surface of the lake because they're chewing the boilies, the oil comes up to the top and you know they're out there feeding, which is a brilliant indicator. The third thing is it preserves them a little bit more. So on long sessions, when you've got no freezer facilities, a little dribble of oil, shake them up and put them in a bucket will make them last a bit longer as well. So my stance, I'm going to put 4 out at a time, no marker float back in the swim because I know 4 goes about the right distance. And just watch my technique. It's almost like a cast. So you're starting off with your weight on the back foot and then transferring your weight through. Those first ones went a bit high, didn't go far enough, so I'm aiming a little bit lower now to get them out there. And I prefer the two-handed technique. I think it gives you more control over accuracy and it just spreads the load so you don't get that horrible tennis elbow feeling when using one hand. And what I'll do is I'll spread these baits over probably, I don't know, half the size of a tennis court, something like that, with 2 or 3 rods amongst them. In this case I'm using 2. And just keep the bait going in at regular intervals. It's the guys that sit there and let the swim go dead and then just bait up once a day just before it gets dark. They're the ones who are going to get 1 or 2 bites a day at the most. The guy that can be bothered to rebait at the right time is the one who's going to get loads more bites. So that is the throwing stick as well. Adam was using it. It's a very good effect at linear, but he couldn't do what I'm doing because of the seagulls. Fortunately, we haven't got any over here, but he was baiting up in the dark. And obviously with this method, maximum effort with 4 baits, he's getting them out there. So I know I can do the same thing in the dark, and that's exactly what Adam was doing. Or he was just putting out maybe 20 baits until the seagulls turned up, and then he was just stopping. You see a lot of people in the UK, they carry on baiting up when the gulls are there and they're getting every single one. If they are there, just stop completely, let them disappear, and then half hour later put a few more out. So that's all the tricks for the throwing stick. Use it to your advantage, and you can build a really big hit. Another lovely dark Skylake mirror, taking over the baited area. Obviously using the throwing stick, it just shows if you get the baiting right, you can turn a good session into a brilliant one. So think about what you're doing, put it in at the right time, and you'll be getting loads of lovely beauties just like this one.